Okay, so today's study, last night we had a look at Matthew chapter 8 verse this one. Wind and waves obey Jesus. And it reads, when he got into a boat, his disciples followed him, and suddenly a great tempest arose on the sea, so that the boat was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. Then his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we are perishing. But he said to them, why are you fearful, O you of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. That's in Matthew chapter 8 verse 23 to 26. The same story is also found in Mark chapter 5 verse 35, 36, 37, 38 and 39. It's the same story. It reads, on the same day when evening had come, he said to them, let us cross over to the other side. Now when they had left the multitude, they took him along in the boat as he was, and other little boats were also with him. And a great windstorm arose, and the waves beat into the boat, so that it was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on a pillow. And they awoke him and said to him, Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing? Then he arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. So this is in Mark chapter 5, verse 35 to 39. Again, the same story is in Luke chapter 8, verse 22 to 25. And it reads, now it happened on a certain day that he got into a boat with his disciples, and said to them, let us cross over to the other side of the lake, that is the lake of Galilee. And they launched out. But as they sailed, he fell asleep, and a windstorm came down on the lake, and they were filling with water and were in jeopardy. And they came to him and awoke him, saying, Master, Master, we are perishing. Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the raging of the water, and they ceased, and there was a great calm. That's in Luke. So we've so far read from Matthew, Mark, and Luke, the same story. Now, interestingly, let me take you to Genesis. The Genesis story, Genesis chapter 1, is a story of history of the creation. I'm particularly interested in verse 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10. Yep. Okay, so 6. Then God said, let there be firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Okay, so firmament in between the waters and the waters. Okay, let's see. Thus God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. So get it, there's a firmament above and there's a firmament below. And God called the firmament heaven. So the evening and the morning were the second day. 9. Then God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. We come back to Mark chapter 5. I like Mark chapter 5. I like the way Mark, it is written in Mark, because it's got this one here. Peace be still. There's a great Cyclone Alfred is tearing down all the buildings, and the city in Australia are greatly affected by the cyclone. And I have a travel that's happening tomorrow, going home on Sunday, and hopefully by Monday I should arrive home for a very important occasion. And been praying quite a lot this week for the weather, especially because over here it's been the last week it was raining until Friday morning. The sun came up and it was really bright, and I believe God answered our prayer and we had a good day on Friday. And then this morning, having looked at the weather, was checking the weather all throughout and checking my flight out from Palmy, because I prayed already about it, but then I was checking through, and then I was overwhelmed and then went to bed, thinking a lot about canceling the flight and not attending my own graduation back at home. But then when I read this and I prayed to God, and I said, okay, give us a sign. If it's your will, then give us a sign that the weather should be okay. When I woke up this morning, after church today, checked on the weather from 7 News, and I saw that the airports would be open. Brisbane Airport would be open for service tomorrow. And I thought to myself, okay, that must be my answered prayer. So I haven't canceled my flight from Palmy out. I'm just hanging in there and praying that all will be well, so we can get on that flight, go home, attend my graduation, and come back. The thing I want to bring out here is that those stories that are in the Bible, they've been written for our own good. So we have to take time to read them, especially when we go through similar situations, when there's a storm and there's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of panic, and self-doubt as well. We have to read those stories in the Bible and claim those promises as our own, and build our faith on each of them. So my take is, I'm confident the weather's gonna be okay. I'm confident that I will make it home, and my son will be okay. I will make it home for my graduation, and then return to see my son, and we'll continue life as usual. Because if it's God's plan, the weather, as in Genesis we read, everything was created. Nature belongs to God. He created it by word of mouth, and by word of mouth He can calm the storm. So I believe it. This is an affirmation, and it goes out to those who are going through situations, whatever your situation is. Always remember 1 Corinthians 10 verse 13. It says that there's nothing that God allows you to go through without Him knowing that you're able to overcome those situations. So keep trusting Him with whatever your plans are, but always seek His guiding and leading in your life. With that, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the day.